The release of camera systems brought a great, happiness or excitement to the Lumix fanboys yesterday. And yes, things are looking great right now. Looks like right now there is a future. I always knew there is a future for Panasonic, but a lot of few people had trust issues. People were like, hey, since GH what, they were autofocus which were bad. Panasonic is no longer going to have a good what, a whole lot of speculations. But I'm glad things are looking promising right now. And yes, for those who are saying it's still not better than the Sonys, it's still not better than the Canon, calm down, chill guys, chill. This is their first try. Huh? Calm down. And you guys do know that Lumix, they are very good when it comes to firmware updates and all that. So we should be looking out for great stuff. So yeah, it is what it is. And today we're going to compare the Canon R7 versus the Lumix S5 Mark II. Yes, I know a lot of people would like to be getting their hands on this camera once it comes out, and I'm talking about the Lumix S5 Mark II. So yeah, we're going to compare these two. The reason for this comparison is because of the price tag. These cameras, they look similar when it comes to the strength, and they also look similar when it comes to the pricing. So yeah, I'm not doing this video because Canon is better than or this is better than, no, but this is just a comparison in case you ever want to get your hands on one of them. So yeah, first of all, we're starting with the price tag, and the Canon R7 goes for $1,500, which is pretty fair for its capabilities. And the Lumix, which we recently got announced here, it's actually going for $2,000, so that's like $500 difference. Canon R7, which all of you do know that's their first crop sensor R mount camera. So it uses the RF. Yeah, the mount is an RF mount. The Lumix is the Leica L. So that is where the debate comes from, because when it comes to the Leica lenses, they are not cheap. Even though the RF is also not cheap, but yeah, it is what it is. And then the Leica uses the three giant brand, which is the Leica, Sigma, and also Panasonic. So it's three companies coming together to make this. So we should be expecting more lenses as times goes on. And yes, they both have autofocus, and that is the nicer part, because Panasonic recently got into the phase detect system, which is looking great for Panasonic, especially for their first try. I see no debate on that. So heading straight to the megapixel, which is the resolution, the Canon R7 does 34.4 megapixel, let's say 35 megapixel, which effectively you only be able to use 32 megapixel out of it. So yeah, it is what it is. And then the Lumix S5 also got 24 megapixel, which is pretty not bad. So when it comes to the resolution, I would say the R7 got a higher resolution than the Panasonic S5 Mark II. But here's the thing, remember the R7 uses the crop sensor body. So the R7 is a crop sensor, and then the Lumix is a full frame. So the R7 will not perform much better compared to the Lumix, because the Lumix is a full frame. So we should be expecting more bokeh and more grades, image and sharpness when it comes to the Lumix system. So yes, as I spoke about in terms of the crop factor, the R7 got a crop which is 1.6 times, but the Lumix S5 is a full frame, so you do not get any crop. They both have image stabilization, which we're talking about the sensor shift, which is 5-axis. Also, the Lumix got the 5-axis stabilization, so there isn't a much difference in there. But when you have both cameras in your hands, I think the Lumix really got the edge here, because you guys do know that when it comes to stabilization, eye-based, Lumix takes the weight. Stills, they all do stills, they all do videos, so it's a hybrid camera in case you are asking. They both shoot photos and they both also shoot videos. Canon do not have a record limit. Yeah, that is what actually pushed a lot of Canon fanboys to get into the R7 system, because it is the first crop sensor camera that does not have a recording limit. Yes, the Canon 90D even had a recording limit, but this one here does not have a recording limit. The the Panasonic S5 also does not have any recording limits. Here's the upper hand when it comes to the Lumix. So with the regards to the Lumix, it's got 96 megapixel. So what this simply means is The initial megapixel is 24 or 25, but it's got a high res mode where it takes a couple of pictures and it combines everything for you to get this great resolution. So it's very nice, especially if you want to do large print or you want to crop in. So it's quite dope. Apologies if you hear any background noise. Yeah, it's a busy day today and things are very much ongoing. So my apologies, and I'm very sorry about any unwanted noise you might hear in the audio. Getting straight to the video resolution or the video capabilities, they all do 4K up to, how do you call it, 60 frames per second. So 4K, and with the Canon, the 4K is not cropped, but if you want to crop in, you can still crop in. But with the Canon, the 1.6 times crop does not give you any additional crop in 4K. But with the Lumix, it's a full frame. If you want to jump to the 4K 60, you're going to get another crop, which is almost as, I think it's an APS-C mode. So yes, it is what it is. We can't complain much. But bear in mind that the S5 also got an upper hand because it shoots all the way from 6K. I mean, it goes all the way to 6K, which is very massive. It's not sampling, it's the actual 6K. And it also have cinema 4K. Yeah, it does have cinema 4K, which is very great. So it's kind of got the upper hand. But the R7 also has a 4K, but it's not a true 4K. Remember, you only get in the Ultra HD. They all shoot 10 bits. So with the Panasonic Lumix, you do get a couple of codecs, a whole lot of codecs. I mean, you can't even complain about this codec system. But I do believe that the Panasonic also got the edge here because it's got a whole bunch of codecs when it comes to the Lumix S5 Mark II. The R7 does not have much, but it does the job. I think it does 1080p up to 120 and then 4K 60. So yeah, it does have a couple of codecs, but the S5 takes the edge because it got a lot more to offer. So the Canon R7 shoots in C-Log 3. Yes, in case you are wondering, it does shoot C-Log 3. You do not have to download any Technics, Cine style, what. No. Yes, you don't have to. And then the Lumix S5 also, you get the Vlog on it. That's a full Vlog, not the Vlog Lite. They both use dual SD card. Yes, the original S5 did not have UHS 2. I think one slot had one, the other one didn't. So here they both uses UHS 2. HDMI is no longer a micro on the Lumix, but on the Canon you get a micro HDMI. On the Lumix you get the full HDMI port, which is amazing in case you want to monitor your visuals on an external monitor without having to break multiple cables. So yeah, I think the Panasonic is really ticking a lot of boxes, man. It's really ticking a lot of boxes. When it comes to the screen size, they both have 3-inch, 3-inch. They're quite similar, and they are all articulating screens, so you do have the chances in case you want to vlog with either of the cameras, you can basically do that. The 500 difference, or the 500 above the Canon R7, is what you get when you pair or switch to the 6K and all the full HDMI sizes. And so I think the price tag of both of them are looking great, even though the Canon loses a bit of specifications when we pay it or when we go head to head with the Lumix. But I think with the price tag of the Canon, you also can't complain. I mean, $1,500, that's quite fair. So yeah, battery wise, the Canon uses the LPE6, which is very standard for most of the Canon DSLRs. I think the 5D, 6D, they share the same battery, so it's quite common and they are quite strong. They do last well. So the Lumix uses the random, I think it's the same battery for the original S5. So it's lithium 7.2 VDC, and that is 2200 milliamp power. So you shouldn't expect much, but at least it will get the job done. So if you are planning to get the Lumix, I will highly suggest that you pick a couple or multiple batteries, either 2 or 3. There isn't much to complain here. I think your budget is what's going to count more. Basically, the 6K on the Lumix, it's quite amazing if you are doing a huge or a big crew. But if you are one running gun or one-man band, I don't think the 6K is really needed, man, because I mean, you obviously going to need a heavy setup to edit this type of footage. So The Canon coming in with the 4K, and remember the Canon uses the IBP, not the all-eye, so it also gives you a smaller bit rate for you to be able to edit, even though it will give you a bit of tough time with the coloring and all that, because you are not shooting in all-eye, so all the footages are being compressed. I think if you have the money for the Lumix, you can go for the Lumix since it shoots 4K. Maybe as times goes on, you might have a better computer or a better setup to handle the capabilities of the 6K. But if you are just someone who do not care about 6K, I mean, and you don't have much money or you don't have the 500, then I would highly suggest you go with the Canon R7. Just bear in mind, both lenses are not cheap, especially with the Lumix. They are not cheap by any means. Yeah, I'm currently shooting on the S1, and trust me, I don't even have one Panasonic lens. All my lenses are Canon. So yeah, the advantage is you can use adapters on both of the cameras, so you'll be able to adapt it to either EF or the RF on the R7. And on the Lumix, you can either adapt it to any lenses that you want. I think you can go Nikon, you can go Canon, you can go PL, you can, when it comes to the Panasonic lens selections with adapter, you can go all the way to, I mean, a whole lot of systems. So yeah, it is what it is, and I hope you did enjoy this little comparison with the Canon and Nikon. If you have any questions based on these two cameras, let me know. And yeah, I'm willing to answer or give you the thoughts that I have available. Thank you very much for watching. I'm gonna end this here. If you are new, please do me a favor, like, subscribe, and I guess I will see you guys in the next one.